Well, YouTubers, I am very, very sorry. I cannot believe the mix-up on thinking this was a 2020 after a guy at the event I was just at. I just got back, so I rushed to get those videos out, put those videos out. Every indication from beta, which they didn't really mention, but I knew the 2020s were coming out, so I thought this was a 2020. Please note, it's not my bike. Some people think it's my bike, and I should have known it wasn't a 2020 and it was a 2019. No, this is not my bike. We can go right over here. That is a California dealer, I guess, manufacturer plate. I don't know if it's just a dealer or manufacturer or how that works out there in California, but this is a 2019 Beta 500 RRS. So, I mean, pretty much it's the same, except there's small differences and small light, the 2020 is supposed to be a little bit lighter and stuff, but otherwise it's pretty much the same bike. Different graphics. Kickstand's gonna have a wider end on it. There's gonna be a part on the exhaust over here, like a little black thing, that's going to be slightly different. So there's slight differences. Stuff, because I'm not a review site, I didn't pick up on, and I should have, but I didn't. So lesson is learned. As you notice, those YouTube videos have been changed. So the title now, instead of saying 2020, say 2019 Beta 500 RRS. Because that's what it is. I wasn't trying for views or anything crazy like that. I have no paperwork on this. There's no sticker on the neck like my buddy's 390, Beta 390, so I couldn't go off that. The only sticker there's one on the forks that does say 2018, but I mean, they pretty much make forks kind of Balkan parts, and you can't necessarily go by that. And I didn't even notice that until I started looking for a sticker at this event I was at, where a few of us are standing around looking at pictures like, yeah, you know what? I think you're right. This is a 2019. I didn't even know they would still have 2019s brand new from Beta USA to just loan out that are fresh out of the crate. And by fresh, I mean it was totally 100% prepped by Beta. And it was shipped to the Loveland Moto Adventure dealer. And when I'm standing around, they get it. They just put on the bars. It's ready to go. It was all done. I got a box of stuff. Here, let's go take a look at that. Grab the box over here in my pile. You keep cleaning the garage, and then I get more stuff in. So this is what I got. I got a box of stuff. They gave me an extra air filter, so I can show you how can go in, and just probably an extra. And they even wrote on it, engine oil, 750cc moto. I got that. I got the transmission oil, a couple zip ties in there, and an oil filter. That's what I got. No paperwork whatsoever. And so when I'm standing around at the dealer, prepping before the video, and I'm saying, so what's different on the 2020? I know it has a bigger tank, it's 2.4, what else on this 2020 is different than the previous models? And at no point did anyone say, that's not a 2020. So I think they, at least the guy I was dealing with, thought, well, maybe it's a 2020. I mean, they just rolled the bike out, I'm picking it up, and that's basically it. Other than our brief conversation of walking around the bike, and then I did the video of the dealership and that to be nice. Because it is a huge support. I mean, even though Beta probably reimburses them something maybe, take time out of their day to handle basically something they're not making really probably much money on. There might be a little prep or something they get just to put the handlebars on, and of course I went through and just made sure the fluids were good, whatnot, because they obviously don't want a bad experience, even if it's just somebody getting a loaner bike, which again I'm very gracious for. So I have no reason to lie for views or anything. It's just chalk it up to inexperience. I've never done an official motorcycle review before like this from a manufacturer. So I should have double checked things. I should have, and believe me, in the future, it's going to be like, we are sure this is a blah, 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 right? So what you see here is what I got. Just indications were 2020. Now somebody said 2020s are not coming out until November. Remember, I did not purchase this bike. So they already have press bikes, you know, so no indication that this wouldn't have been a 2020. So this is a oopsie video, but you know, let's turn this into a positive. So what? I messed up on the date. I'm sorry about that. So the first 100 people that watched the video, because my channel's not that big. Oh well, you'll get over it because, you know, life goes on. It's not that big of a deal. But I have ridden the bike. I went to an event. I immediately, after uploading those videos, skedoodled to an event. I've been at an event now since Thursday. Today is a Monday, so I got back on Sunday, and that's when I started like, okay, I can like tackle, you know, changing the links in my videos and whatnot. But this bike, I only used it the one day because of, I took the XR650R, and that's better for longer distances. So small tank, I didn't want to chance it, and I didn't just want to carry fuel and stuff. So I got a bigger tank coming for this, I believe, from IMS. I think they're gracious enough. They're going to let me use a tank to really showcase this at my event, which then I can go much further and I can lead people around. But I did use this in the Hartman Rocks area of near Gunnison there. It's a recreation area. Lots of single track, lots of roads. Just really good riding. Just fabulous. It's awesome that they have the area. They have maps all over the place. You are here. So you go somewhere, you are here, and it's huge maps, and that is epic. Nothing's shot up, which is great. I know people will say, well, but you can't shoot there. Well, that doesn't stop people at night now, does it? But you'll even come to like little trail markers, and on the little 4x4 post, well, I think it's more like a 6x6 post, there's a little map, again, saying you are here, so you have an idea where you're at. Everything is marked pretty dang well. It's pretty epic. So the bike on nice, smooth, well, somewhat choppy, good roads, dirt roads, it handles awesome. I'm going to have to count the teeth on that sprocket. I actually think that's a 15 tooth. I know I said the dealer thought it was a 14, but I'm thinking it's a 15, and just more that I look at it, it looks quite large. But I'm going to count that and probably let you know in an update. But I'm going to pick up probably a couple different front sprockets, change those around, and just see what I can do. Because on single track, how it is from the factory, assuming that's a 15 tooth sprocket, is just, you have to slip the clutch way too much on single track, even moderate single track. On new green trails, at least out there, it was nice and flowy, that was fine, but still you had to slip the clutch a lot more than I like. I like chugging, and the stuff wasn't that hard where I should have been needing to slip the clutch. So that's probably something you'll want to do. If you get one of these bikes, you'll probably want to go ahead and put on a different front sprocket. Now, I'm thinking about getting, if that is a 15, I'm probably going to get a 14 and a 13. And I have a feeling I'll probably like the 13 the best. And we'll see. It's not too hard to change out a sprocket, you know. So I'll probably test a few different sprockets, see how I like it, see how it works on various trails. Now, how it's set up right now, it works great on pavement, because we had to take some pavement and get there. Works great on pavement. It works great on the dirt Jeep type roads, some moderate hard hill climbs and stuff. It works just fine. Even those rocky hill climbs, I either had to just gun it, go 40, 50 up the hill and bounce around, or I definitely had to slip the clutch more. So that's why I'm like, well, it definitely needs a smaller sprocket. Again, not a huge deal. What you might dirt trick sprocket for the front, I think, is like 33 bucks, and those things will last forever. So if you want a sprocket, check out Dirt Tricks. If you need a bigger tank, check out IMS and use my code Meeker20. Save you 20% off tanks, foot pegs. If they make a shifter or a brake pedal, you'll save some money. So definitely check them out. So I also traded. So the other guy that thought pretty strongly that this was a 2019 has a Beta 390. And so we swapped bikes. I let him ride this, and he liked it. Right away, I noticed that this bike was lighter than his 390. His 390 sits higher. I could barely touch the ground, but that might be because he has a different rear spring, much stiffer suspension in the back, but I wouldn't have thought it was that big of a deal. I don't know. It definitely, I could tell the weight and I could tell the height, and well, of course he had a Scott steering stabilizer and stuff, but yeah, it just felt different. I don't know. Ergonomics, although it's supposedly same bike, it did feel different to me. And I'm usually not that picky of a person, but right away I did notice difference. As far as the power delivery, it's a lot tamer on the 390, as you can imagine, which is good. I mean, if you're just a person that's tooling around, you're just average rider, you're normal, probably trail rider, it's going to be probably actually the bike for you. If you're somebody that's coming from sport bikes, coming from bigger bikes with a lot of torque, then I feel more at home on the 500 just because I'm used to having that power there for going around corners, giving it gas, letting the back kind of slide around, and just being a total hooligan on the bike. But that's just a personal preference. I have nothing against, obviously I have a Gas 300, so, you know, which, you know, for two strokes, I guess that's pretty good for torque and stuff, but, you know, it's hard to beat a big 650. The piston size, you know, is so huge. Because actually, although we call this a Beta 500 here in this country, I think it's called a Beta 480 in Europe because it's actually closer to 480cc. It's actually 478cc. And also note, I should point out, this is only a 2.1 gallon tank. The new bike for 2020 is 2.4 gallon. It's only slightly bigger. What's that going to give you? Maybe 5 more miles or so, 8 more miles. You're not getting a huge difference. So if you're a trail rider like me, you're going to be more confident on long range riding, especially because this is set up with turn signals and a plate, if you just go ahead and get a bigger tank from the get-go. You know, it's just one of those things. For a trail rider, you're going to want a bigger tank. That extra capacity on the 2020, that's not going to be something you're going to rave about. Yeah, okay, it's cool, but it's not like, oh my God, because first thing I would do if I bought a 2020 would buy an IMS tank anyways. I would want preferably a tank that had a shroud on it. Why? Because I like tanks with shrouds because it protects the radiator. And if they make the tank where you can also go around radiator guards, then you're double protected. You're not busting a radiator at all. It's going to be very hard to kill the radiator. As far as the tires that come on it, I'm not a real big fan of that Michelin Enduro or Endurance, I don't even know what it's called, tire. I'm just not a fan of what comes on the Beta. I'll show you the tread pattern. Here's the tread pattern. And you can see I have some wear, but I'm just not a big fan of it. I mean, the knobbies are not that tall and they're spaced far apart. They kind of like to slide around. I mean, they do feel soft, but I don't know. Not my cup of tea. Now, it's just not me that says the tires. The guy that has the 390 said he took them off right away, put on different tires, and just basically are storing new tires from day one that were on the bike. Because, yeah, he didn't like. Now, the front was fine. I had no problem with the front. The front seems fine. It's just the back. I didn't like how it gripped and how it gripped on this more slick rock type rock. And the sand. I don't know. I just didn't like it. Maybe it works better on the East Coast or something, or in conditions I just haven't ridden it in right now. But overall, this bike is pretty good. I'm going to have a lot more videos obviously coming at you of this bike. So the next video you're going to have to check out is going to be me being cheap and not getting a bib mousse or a nitro mousse. I'm putting in these into this rear tire on this 500. Hope it fits, because that's a 140. So I hope there's room. I know on the tires I have, there's room. But I'm going to try lubing these up, putting them in the rear tire, and seeing how long they last, because why not do a budget mousse install, right? I've had these sitting around. I've been planning this for months. I just haven't had time, and my bikes have tubeless. This bike doesn't have a tubeless, so I can just yank the tube, toss those in, see how it works. See if they explode or if they don't last long, or what the deal is. I'm going to lube them up really well. So I'll be bringing you that video. So look for that. And I think it'd be exciting on the beta. Why not kill 2 birds with 1 stone and review that situation on this beta loaner bike. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, check out my other videos. And sorry for the oopsie on the year. It happens. I lived, I learned, and that won't ever happen again. So again, thanks.